Welcome to TJ and Nash Crash the Movies. We're getting a little bit friendly, where TJ and Nash go and review the best, the not so best, and the very worst movies that come out in theaters.
This is Nash, I'm TJ, and this is Thearly Clinking.
This time on Thearly Clinking, TJ and Nash Crash the Movies, we're going to be reviewing Mission Impossible 5, Rogue Nation.
Oh my goodness, this has been a lot of these things.
Oh yeah. You're going to join Jeremy Renner, again, Simon Pegg,
My favorite.
again, oh mine too, Ving Rhames, again, and Tom Cruise, again, for a slightly silly spy action thriller. Say that 10 times fast.
Do I get paid for that?
No.
I don't get
Slightly silly spy action thriller.
Slightly silly spy action thriller.
Slightly
silly action thriller.
We'll practice. Okay. And in fact, really in this movie, you had a villain who was new, and then you had Rebecca Ferguson's character, who this is her first one.
This is the whole point of this movie is Ethan Hunt finds his match.
He does.
Yes.
In the Syndicate. Spoiler alert.
No, that's not
really a spoiler.
No,
If you've seen any trailer,
you should know that just fine.
Absolutely. And so really, honestly, it's just Mission Impossible.
And this is our review on it. Before we get into the review, let's go over the rating system. What we got for the very best, of course, because everybody knows Christopher Nolan was ahead of his time with The Dark Knight, IMAX. And then if that doesn't quite meet the IMAX standard, we've got a regular screening. Worth the time, but definitely worth it in the theaters. If that doesn't quite suit your money, the best thing you can do is matinee for the cheapos. Who cares? I'm a cheapo. If it's not worth my time, I will pay. And if you don't quite like matinee, you can always Netflix it or Hulu. And then if it's not quite Netflix standard, there's always driving to the scary end of town for the nearest Redbox.
$1, Bob. $1.
And if you don't really want to drive to the scary part of the town, you can risk your luck with the FBI and torrent it. It's not even torrent. Don't bother. It may be a Sharknado. Actually, Sharknado is good. It may be a room. Oh wait, that's still good. Just don't bother.
30 Days of Night? Well, what can we think of something? There's got to be something. So let's get a real quick rundown again. It was IMAX, regular price, matinee, Netflix, Redbox, torrent, and please don't bother.
Mr. Nash, thoughts on the movie? Rogue Nation, good, bad, yay, nay, eat some hay?
Well, absolutely. I think that that Rogue Nation was truly a great movie for about 10 minutes. Either the first 10 minutes or the 10 minutes in the middle with the car chase, the BMW through Morocco, or the BMW motorcycle through Morocco, the big BMW commercial. You get to pick. It was great for those 10 minutes. The rest, I would say, is just good. I think it was better than Ghost Protocol. I mean, it was... I don't think it was better than Ghost Protocol, but it was definitely better than Mission Impossible 3 and Mission Impossible 2.
So you're about tied in Ghost Protocol right now?
Yeah, I think so. Overall, I think that the story arc was lacking. Let's just have a bunch of double agents who are double agents. Who knew? That's basically my thoughts on that movie. It was great for 10 minutes.
Things with thoughts of I had on the movie. I really wanted to enjoy it. It was like good opening. Movies always have a good opening. Things like that. I think that's one thing Tom Cruise has gotten with his production companies is really good openings. A lot of good character moments. Not so much character development. Because Simon Pegg, Benji's great.
Right.
The leading lady, sexy in some areas, but they didn't know whether or not they wanted to make her sexy or smart. Tom Cruise was kind of just Tom Cruise. I mean, he was still Ethan Hunt. He did all his things, but there wasn't very much leeway or depth. They kind of like, oh, I'm a super badass kind of thing always.
Right.
And they didn't quite know if they wanted to play this part element or this part element. And if you see the movie, you kind of understand. They would kind of lead you with dots connecting over here, and then the dots kind of just fall off the bat.
Oh, yeah.
And then you just be like, oh, we're over here again. I'm like, oh, okay. Good movie. Kind of just all over the place. So
what would your rating be then for our new rating system?
For the new rating system, I wanted to give it a regular showing. but I think I'm just going to give it a matinee. Good matinee. Add on, bring some friends, bring a girl. Add on, bring some popcorn and drinks. You're enjoyable. Not quite worth the regular price, but still, you want to see it in theaters. You can catch it. How about you?
And I think that this is a regular price movie. I think that Tom Cruise has a lot of appeal. This is a regular price movie. Add on, bring a date. It's going to be silly enough, it's going to be romantic enough, and it is going to be fun enough for the action lover. It's not a great movie. It's not going to be on an Oscar list. But there you go, regular price.
All right, so we're going to show our ratings here again for your information, and then if you want to stick around, we'll discuss the movie. For a quick summary of the reviews, Curtis agreed that the movie was good here and there for 10-minute moments, that it was still fun to see, and that it was best seen at a regular priced movie with a few add-ons. I, however, thought the movie was worth a matinee with a few add-ons, thinking that the plot was all over the place and lacking here and there, but still worth a see in the movie. Now, time for the discussion.
All right, so TJ, just to get started, I gave it a regular price. You gave it a matinee with some add-ons, which is good. But what would it take for this matinee movie to be a regular price movie?
I think the one thing that was lacking most of all in this movie, and it was kind of the same issue with Ghost Protocol. I mean, the thing that was working well for Mission Impossible 3 was its villain. There was a good amount of the villain. The rest of the elements didn't quite meet up to the villain and make a good movie. The biggest problem with Rogue Nation is that he's got this big, huge match against this one guy. This is the one guy. There's this one guy that Tom Cruise is trying to hunt down, and this is kind of, you can find this in the trailers. There may be a little bit spoiler issues, so if you have some thoughts with that.
Spoiler alert!
I'm just kidding. We're going to try to stay away from spoilers, but we are going to bring up some stuff that won't necessarily kill the plot, but what we had. There wasn't just enough of the villain. And they keep introducing the villain, and the villain was dealt more with the side character instead of Tom Cruise. I mean, this is supposed to be his equal kind of thing, and it was just like, where's the villain? There wasn't very much villain. There wasn't very much butting the heads between that. And then the other thing that kind of would have made this a little bit better is more Alec Baldwin.
More Alec Baldwin.
He had some great parts in it, but I don't think there was enough. Another thing is that they had too many side storylines. There wasn't enough main focus on the story, and I think that's the biggest issue that I had with the movie.
Right.
And then they couldn't decide whether or not they wanted to bring the team in, make this a team movie or a Tom Cruise movie.
Was it just me, or did Ving Rhames' part just seem they put it in the movie just for nostalgia? He didn't actually do anything.
I'm gonna have to agree with that. And Jeremy Renner, why did they have Jeremy Renner in there? It wasn't really that big of a necessary part. I mean, he had some funny parts. Don't get me wrong. I kind of hated Jeremy Renner in Ghost Protocol because I thought it was let's throw a new character in there for the hell of a new character.
A young Tom Cruise, because Tom Cruise is getting old.
Yeah, but Jeremy Renner, I was actually for this movie, I was where's more Jeremy Renner?
Right, and that's kind of funny because I think a lot of the same. I think that Jeremy Renner's character had a purpose in Ghost Protocol. Was it just a younger Ethan Hunt? Yeah, it was. He had a purpose. In this one, he doesn't move any of the puzzle pieces. He doesn't change anything. They try to
make him opposition, but he's not really opposition. I mean, you gave it regular, so that's how it would give me to him. I gave him matinee with some add-ons, so it's close to regular to me. What do you think it would take to actually? Could this movie be resurrected and saved for an IMAX? Or
I think it could have. You touched on a lot of it with the villain. The villain was there was no climax against the villain. There were some side characters and some side stories about mostly the British version of the IMF. Again, spoiler alert. They had these characters that it's kind of like an inside joke. We didn't get it as the audience. But because the people on screen got it, I guess, okay.
Yeah, there's some characters there that are oh, I know.
It just could have used a little bit more of the British version of the IMF. Little bit more of them.
Kill some of the sideline stories, too.
Yeah. And then I think that the pace of the movie was so good in the first 15 minutes. And during that car chase, so good. But there is a scene, and spoiler alert possibly, there is a scene underwater that could have been exciting.
Oh, actually, there is one in the trailer where he's diving. So.
There you go.
So it's not a full spoiler alert, but
it could have been exciting, but it wasn't. It took too long. It wasn't enough suspense. You knew exactly what was going to happen.
And I think there was just so much. Like, they tried to do this smart villain, but he wasn't a terrifying smart villain. Good idea for a smart villain for comparison. I want to say Skyfall.
Agreed.
Javier Bandero was not this big, cute... Bardem, sorry.
Yeah, no,
Bardem was not this big, huge, burly guy, or wasn't somebody that could hold his weight with a machine gun and shoot you from 10,000 yards away. His ability was planning, and that's comparison to the villain in here.
Yeah, being one step ahead of it. That's actually a really good point, because that's also a spy thriller.
Yeah.
And you look at these spy thrillers and their villains, and the rating of their villain matches directly to the... That's why Skyfall was better than Quantum of Solace.
There wasn't really a villain in Quantum of Solace.
They had so much potential. You're absolutely right. And so it would take actually kind of a lot to make it an IMAX. And I am solidly saying that you should go see this movie. It's worth it to see this movie in theaters as well.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with that, but I'm just going to go with the matinee price. Try to catch it. If your movie theater does a special, like some of the movie theaters out here do $5 Tuesdays. We're in Utah, so LA probably doesn't.
$5,000 Tuesdays.
I don't pay $20 for an IMAX ticket. I accidentally saw an IMAX for like $9 on a matinee.
Wow. So thank you again. If you like this review, please like and comment. Also share it with your friends. Also,
we also, if you want, suggest any movies later on. We're not going to do the review every movie out in theaters because that's a lot of time. We're going to generally review the bigger blockbusters. If you have some past movies you'd like us to do, then suggest that too. Things like that. And then if you just like comments, suggestions, click like, subscribe, like Curtis said.
And don't forget to crash those movies.